Welcome to Math with Mrs. Cox. We're on Chapter 4, Lesson 3. We are on page 263, and this whole lesson is about dividing with a two-digit divisor. First question. A yearbook committee took 836 photos with a digital camera over 76 days. They took an equal amount of photos each day. How many photos did they take each day? Okay, so we've got this important number and this important number. I'm going to transfer them into a division problem. Okay, estimating. We can estimate that 76 will round to 80, and that a compatible number with 80 is 800. 8, we can do the rule of zeros with this. 80 divided by 8 is 10. So we know that our first digit's probably going to be close to a 1. And our answer should be close to 10. 1 times 76 is 76, and then we subtract it. We're going to get 7 right there, pull down the 6, then 76 will go into that one time. 1 times 76 is 76. 0. So we know that 836 will divide by 76 is 11, since P is 11. The committee will take 11 photos each day. Checking for reasonableness, our estimate was 10, and our answer is 11, so we did pretty good. Okay, moving on. This one's kind of nice. They didn't have to change it too much. 30 is already closest to the closest 10, which is 30. And 751, they just changed to 750 because they know they're compatible. So think about quarters. How many quarters do you need to make 75 cents? That's right, 3 of them. So it's kind of a fact family in our head. It's a compatible number. So 75 divided by 3 is 25. So our answer to this problem should be close to 25. 2 is going to help us out. So 2 times 30 is 60. Okay, 5 minus 0 is 5. 7 minus 6 is 1. So now let's look at these numbers here. We have 30 needs to go into 151. Now how many times will 3 go into 15? Let's just kind of estimate in our head. You're right, about 5 times. So let's do 30 times 5 and see if it's kind of close. Ooh, look at that. It's really close, 150. So let's do 5. It's going to be 150. And there's going to be a remainder of 1. So 751 divided by 30 is 25, remainder 1. We estimated it to be about 25, and the answer is 25, remainder 1. So our estimate was quite close to our answer. So make sure we do the remainder 1 right there. Okay, number 1. We're going to estimate the divisor up to 20 over here. And then a compatible number with 20 is 180, which that will round up to. You can do the rule of zeros and cross off both of those zeros. And 18 divided by 2 is 9. 16 will not go into 1, but 16 will go into 17 at least one time. 1 times 16 is 16. 17 minus 16 is 1. Bring down the 6 is 16. 16 goes 16 one time. 16, 0. So 176 divided by 16 is 11. We estimated that 11's our answer. We estimated it'd be about 9. So it's close, but it's not very exact. Okay, now let's move to this page. We are going to just do the evens because this would take us all day to do every single one of them. They say divide and check for reasonableness. Let's go ahead and start our dividing. So you're going to need to have a graph paper for this one because it's going to take a lot of work, and you're going to have room for some guess and check. So 62 into 890. Okay, so let's look at our numbers here. 62 will not go into 8, but 62 will go into 80 at least one time. So 1 times 62 is 62. Then we're going to change that to a 7 and that to a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 7 minus 6 is 1. Got to bring down that beautiful 9. So now we look at this, 62 into 189. This is where estimating is handy. Most of you guys can do this in your head, but I'm going to do some of the work out here. I know a fact family is 18 divided by 6 equals 3. Right here I have 189, so I could do that roughly 180 divided by 60, cross off the zeros, and know that my answer is still going to be 3. So let's use our guess and check knowledge and do 62 times 3 and see how close we get. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Hey, look at that. That's pretty close. Let's use it. So 3 times 62. 3 times 62. We're going to write the answer right there because we did all the work over here. 186. And our remainder is going to be 3. Okay, 4. All right, so we have 15. We'll go into 210. So 15 will not go into 2, but 15 will go into 21 at least one time. 1 times 15 is, well, 15. Then we have to change that and borrow some over here so that we can do 11 minus 5 is 6. 1 minus 1 is 0, but we have to bring down the 0 for the 6. There you go, 15 into 60. Now, in my head, I do know, this is how my brain works, that 15 plus 15 is 30. So if I do that again, and 30 plus 30 equals 60, right? So 4 times 15 should equal 60. Let's go ahead and do a guess and check over here and see. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4. 5, 6. Yep, it is. 14 is our answer. Okay, let's do number 6. Okay, this one's already bracketed up. That's great. So we have 34. It will not go into 5, but 34 will go into 59 at least one time. 1 times 34 is 34. 9 subtract 4 is 5. 5 subtract 3 is 2. Bring down the 4. Okay, now if we have 34 into 254. So what we need to do is figure out how many times it will go into that. This is where estimating can help you out a little bit. I could estimate that the divisor to 30 and the dividend, I know that 24 is compatible. Cross off the zeros. I know that 8 goes into 24, excuse me, I give you the answer. 3 goes into 24 about 8 times. So we're going to take that knowledge, that estimate, and we're going to do some work here. Let's do a guess and check of 34 times 8. So 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 3 is 28, 29, 30, 31. Ooh, that's a little too much. So now we're going to have to do a guess and check of 34 times 7. We're just a little too much with the 8. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 3 is 21, 22, 23. That's a little bit better. So let's do 7. 7 times 34. 7 times 34, which we've got the answer right here, is 238. Okay, so we have to borrow from this to be able to get this one so we can subtract. So 8, between 8 and 14, there's 6 numbers. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 6 numbers there. 4 minus 3 is 1, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So we have 16. So our answer is going to be 17, remainder 16. That was a not very fun number. We can do it. Number 8. We have 29, and then we see how many times it goes into 790. Well, 29 will not go into 7, but 29 will go into 79. About twice. 3 times 30 would be about 90, and that's too much. So I'm mentally in my head, I rounded that to 30, and I times it by 3, and I knew that that would be way too much. So we're going to have to do a guess and check with 29 times 2. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So we're going to put a 2 up here. 2 times 29 is 58. And 9 minus 8 is 1. 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring down the 0. 29. Now 29 is really close to 30. And 210, I can cross off the zeros. So now I have 3 will go into 21 about 7 times. So now I'm going to do a guess and check. I'm going to do a guess and check with 7. So 29 times 7. 7 times 9 is 63. This is where it's handy to have your multiplication memorized. 7 times 2 is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oof, that's perfectly under. So 7 times 29 is 203. Then we can borrow from over there, bring it over here. 7 left over, remainder 7. Whew. Next one, number 10. All right, 42 will not go into 6, but 42 will go into 62 at least one time. 1 times 42 is 42. 2 minus 2 is 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down the 4. Okay, 42 going into this. I can estimate it in my head about 40 into 200. Cross off the zeros. 4 will go into 20 about 5 times. So I'm going to do a guess and check of 42 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 1. Ooh, that is way too much. So we need to try a guess and check of 42 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 4 is 16. That's a little bit better. 168. All right, now I need to subtract that. So I need to borrow from here. That's going to make this into a 9 or a 10. Borrow one more to make it into a 9, and that would be a 14. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 6 left over. 9 minus 6 is 3, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So my answer is going to be 14, remainder 36, which isn't a very pretty answer, but that is the answer nonetheless. Okay, number 12 is kind of an algebraic question. Don't let it fool you. It really just needs to look like this. Bracket it up. Okay, 12 will not go into 5, but 12 will go into 52 at least 4 times. 4 times 12 is 48. Then we need to subtract, turn that into a 4 and that into a 12. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 4 left over. Bring that 8 down. Yes. 12, I know that one will go into 48 4 times. 4 times 12 is 48. 48 minus 48 is 0. So our answer is 44. I like it when they turn out like that. Oops. Okay, there is our page. Remember, we only did the evens today. Alrighty, and we're on this page. We're going to do the evens as well. Okay, number 14. We are going to read this. Mr. Calzada buys flags for his store. Each flag costs $28. How many flags can he buy for $350? What does the remainder represent? Ooh, fun. So we have 28 bracketed up to 350. All right, 28 will not go into 3, but it will go into 35 at least one time. 1 times 28 is 28. 28. So we can turn that into a 2, that into a 15. 15 minus 8. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 would be 7. Bring down the 0. Now we need to see how many times 28 will go into 70. Let's see. At least twice would be about 60. Let's do that one because I think any more it would be way too much. 28 times 2. Here's our guess and check. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. So we have 2 times 28, and we're going to write 56 right here. So we have a 7 right here. And we have to turn this into a 6 and this into a 10. So 10 minus 6 is 4. 6 minus 5 is 1. So we have that he can buy 12 flags. And he'll have 14 left over. So he'll have $14 left over. Make sure you put a dollar sign by that, would you? Okay, let's work on 16. Drianne uploads 292 pictures on her online album. Her online album shows 12 pictures per page. How many pages does she scroll through to see all the pictures? What does the remainder represent? Okay, so we're going to do 12 into 292. Go ahead and grab some graph paper to make sure you have room to work on this, because they just don't give enough room in the book. All right, 12 will not go into 2, but 12 will go into 29 at least twice. 2 times 12 is 24. And 9, subtract 4 is 5. Bring down the 2. 12 will go into 52 at least 6 times. Nope, wrong answer. It'll go into it at least 4 times. 4 times 12 is 48. Almost made a mistake there. Okay, that's going to be a 4. This is going to be 12. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's going to be 4 left over. Okay, so that means 24 pages. And the 4 means that there will be 4 pictures on the last page. So think about this. So that's 24 pages, but we have some extra pictures. So we really need 25 pages. And the 4 means there'll be 4 on the next last page. And that's why you need to up the number from 24 to 25, because you're going to need 25 pages. Confusing. Okay, let's go ahead and work on 18, shall we? We have write a division problem with a quotient that is greater than 40 but less than 50. So greater than 40 but less than 50. So here's an example of what they did. They did 984 divided by 24 equals 41. The answer is less than 50 but greater than 40.